Welcome, riders, ridettes, and pillions. You join me here on the side of Route 550, taking one last look at Silverton, the town where I stayed last night. It's a cool little town, definitely very snow sports oriented. It's not quite skiing season yet, but based on what I saw, it is definitely off-roader season. Jeeps galore, FJ Cruisers like this one we're passing. I don't have the numbers to back this up, but I am pretty sure that about 50% of all FJ Cruisers ever manufactured are currently in the state of Colorado. Not to mention all of the rugged RVs, you know, truck bed campers on like a really off-road oriented pickup, and also just general adventure vans, which is something that has always fascinated me. And oh hey, another FJ. I've always been fascinated by adventure vans, and now that I'm here in Colorado seeing them all over the place, it's really stoked that fire. I even saw a stealth camper van, the kind of thing where you can park basically anywhere where you're allowed to park and sleep in there and no one will know. I only spotted it because of the roof vent and the solar panels. Whoever was in there was keeping a really low profile. And then I actually caught that van on camera when I was shooting a flyby for this video. Lots of adventure bikes too, and in a way, that's what my Speed Twin is right now. I've packed these SW Motec Blaze saddlebags with everything I need for the trip. Food, tools, camera gear, my computer, a set of street clothes, as well as rain gear and different layers to help me deal with the variety of weather conditions you can encounter in Colorado in just a brief 5-day span. The trip I'm on is a 5-day tour of western Colorado, and today is day 3. I'm making a video out of every day of this trip. 2 of them are live so far, so you should catch up if you haven't seen those yet. The short version is I towed my 2019 Triumph Speed Twin here to Colorado from the Washington, D.C. area. I figured now that I can work from anywhere with an internet connection thanks to Corona, I might as well work from somewhere with an internet connection and incredible mountains. My home base, so to speak, is in Longmont, Colorado, and as much as I'm loving that area, there's only so much that I could reach within a day's ride. So I thought that I would take a little trip within a trip so that I could make it out to some of the more remote parts of the state. Yesterday, I rode down to the southernmost point that I'll be reaching on this trip, Silverton. And today, I'm riding back north again with a final destination of Grand Junction. I am sad to be leaving though. The region we're currently in is known colloquially as the Swiss Alps of North America, and that's not an exaggeration. This is easily the most beautiful part of the state I've seen, and I wish I had stayed here for longer. I'll be back someday though, you can count on that. Here's some off-roaders here. Jeep club of some kind. I should also mention, in addition to the Jeeps and 4Runners and stuff, Silverton was crawling with side-by-sides, like hardcore off-road side-by-sides. You know how when you go to like a marina community, it's full of retirees riding around in golf carts? Well, it's a similar situation here, except they're all in open-seat 4-wheelers. Well guys, sadly, those incredible big boy mountains are now behind us. Our final destination today is Grand Junction, Colorado, where I'll actually be spending the next 2 nights, kind of giving myself an in-town day tomorrow. I had originally intended to ride north, straight there, but now I've decided that first I'm gonna go west. I have a cool spot in mind. It's nothing extraordinary, but it feels cool to me, and it looks like there's an interesting road that leads to it. How do you guys want me to get there? Should I do a montage, or should I do the YouTuber thing where I put my hand in front of the camera and when I pull it away we've cut to the next location? The YouTube thing? Okay. made it all the way to Utah today, guys. How's that for a detour? This feels like a perfect halfway point for this little trip. Yeah, big whoop, I know, I just rode straight here along a nice paved road. Not a huge accomplishment, but just the concept of being on a borderline, especially one here in a mountain desert environment, with all my stuff packed into 2 little bags, 2 days ride from home. I don't know, being here just makes me feel very removed, very out there. And being out there is what motorcycling is all about for me, even if all I did to get here was twist the throttle for a couple hours. The Utah sign is actually over there, but I came over here to the Colorado sign because it has shade. Point Colorado. So now the question of where to go from here. Well, I had intended for this to be my turnaround point, and then I would head back through Gateway Canyon up to Grand Junction. But if you know your geography, you know that being on this part of the Utah-Colorado border, I'm pretty close to the town of Moab, which is one of the outdoor adventure meccas of North America. I could go that way and then loop back up to Grand Junction along Route 70, which would kind of suck. It is late in the day, and I don't have much time to explore the park. Not that I have the off-road pedigree to do so to a worthwhile degree anyway, but still, it just doesn't feel right to come this close and not at least go see it. I know what to do. We'll leave it to chance.
Two years ago, not long after I got my Triumph Street Twin, which at the time was my dream bike, I took a road trip with a good friend of mine who rides a Honda Rebel. It's one of very few occasions where I've ridden with another person, and that trip taught me the difference between a vacation and an adventure. That's a story for another day, but at one point on the trip, we were stopped at a little rest stop on the Blue Ridge Parkway in Virginia, and my friend went into the gift shop without telling me, and came out and gave me this little token. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little coin. Blue Ridge Parkway, America's favorite ride. And on the other side, it says, I rode the Blue Ridge Parkway. Now the motorcycle depicted on that side of the coin is the original Triumph Speed Twin. I've held on to it since then, but earlier this year, I guess around mid-March, I just randomly, for no reason, decided that it was good luck and started carrying it around in the little stash pocket of my jeans. Literally, not 1 week later, my very own Triumph Speed Twin practically fell into my lap. Needless to say, I've carried this everywhere I went ever since then, and I'm gonna use it to help me decide which way to go. If it lands motorcycle side up, we go back into Colorado, but if it lands Parkway side up, we head over to Moab. Ready? Motorcycle side up. Colorado it is.
Colorado, you're wonderful. I don't feel too bad about this. I like flipping coins when I have a hard decision to make, because regardless of what side the coin lands on, as soon as you see it, the way you feel about the result will tell you what you really wanted. And when I saw that little Speed Twin looking up at me, I felt pretty good. I am loving Colorado, and I'm not ready to skip any part of it just yet. Plus, if I was to just jog through Moab, you know, not even go on any of the trails or anything, it would just feel like a tease. I'm gonna save that for the next adventure. So we're headed back east right now, but then we'll double back and head up Gateway Canyon. I'm really starting to feel this long day, especially since it's the 3rd in a row. So I think I'll just let you enjoy this canyon road with a time lapse. Let's do it. So this is the last leg of my journey towards Grand Junction, Route 141. I keep wanting to call it Gateway Canyon because it's heading towards the town of Gateway, but I'm not sure if that's the actual name of it. So a couple miles into the canyon, I pulled into a scenic overlook that was there so that you could look at the old water flume track. But as I was checking this thing out, I looked a good distance across the bottom of the canyon and I saw an upside down car. And I thought, whoa, did somebody just drive off the road right before I showed up? There wasn't like smoke or debris strewn about that I could see, but it was really far away, so it was hard to make out. And I thought, okay, maybe somebody ran off the road and crashed like many years ago, and it just wasn't worth the effort of recovering the car. But also, wouldn't the authorities or emergency services or whatever know that if they left the car there and people pulled over to that overlook and saw it, they'd call 911 like on a daily basis saying, hey, I just saw a crashed car at the bottom of the canyon. I just had so many questions, so I got the drone out and sent it down into the canyon to check out the wreck. Now, of course, it turns out that car had been there for just about ever, and it also turned out that there was another car right next to it. But it's just so cool that I was in this timeless, brutally beautiful landscape and spotted something out of the ordinary down there and was able to get a closer look and figure out what happened. I don't know. It was just a neat little experience I wanted to tell you about. I'm giving myself a chill day tomorrow. I'll be in Grand Junction for 2 nights instead of 1. I had originally planned on taking a day ride to the Utah border, actually along this very canyon and back, but I decided to turn that into a detour on my ride to Grand Junction today. Now that I've ridden through here and seen what I wanted to see, I don't need to worry about getting up early and covering a ton of miles tomorrow. I've still got some neat stuff I want to check out in Grand Junction though, so make sure you stay tuned for the next video in this series. This trip took place over the course of September 17th to 21st, today being the 19th, and I think it's going to be a little while before I get a chance to edit these. Oh man, how do they keep doing it? Corner after corner. These canyon walls are just titans. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you. I've really enjoyed getting to bring you guys along on these rides. I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already, so that you can catch the last 2 installments of this series, and also all the other videos of the things I get up to while I'm here in Colorado. Well, that's all I've got for you. You ride safe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.